Hello, my name is Mark. I am 30 years old. I live in Manhattan, but I grew up in Syracuse, New York. I came out when I was 21-ish. I came out to my first friends in college when I was in January of 2008. I came out to my parents in June of 2009, moments before my sister got married. And I was in school at the time at Quinnipiac University. The train, I saw two people get on the train, and the train stopped just before Stamford, Connecticut, which was on the way to New Haven. And as the train was stalled, I listened to these two people in front of me talk about one of the subway advertisements about currency. I was listening to them talk, and I knew both of them were gay. I fully understood that moment. And I was watching episodes, like on my laptop, episodes of The Office. I remember it clear as day. I laughed at something someone said, and then they turned around and looked at me, and then we started chatting. And then at Stanford, we had to switch trains because the current train was out of commission. And from Stanford to New Haven, which is about an hour, we were just chatting the night away, learning more about each other. And once I left, he's like, "Oh, are you on?" And this is, well, 2008, so this is like when Facebook was the only like real social network. He's like, "Oh, do you have a screen name that's on your Facebook?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he friended me on Facebook. My Facebook page was extremely private. I had no information on it. I got on the computer, unprivated everything, added the phone number, added my AIM screen name, and waited until like he became my friend on AIM, which is it sounds so dated talking about it, and we chatted from probably like 12:30 until 6 a.m. and he's like, "Let's like meet at Borders." Borders used to exist as a bookstore. We met at Borders the next day, and then did dinner. We went out for drinks. At the end of the night, I was like, you should come home with me. And I remember driving from, and this was in Hartford, where we met up. Like Hartford to New Haven is about 45 minutes. I remember being like, this is it. Like, I'm making a choice at this moment, because I had four roommates, and all straight dudes in a very dude college. I was like, this is a choice I'm making at this moment in time. I was like, I know that like when I wake up in the morning and I bring a guy downstairs, or I bring a guy home late at night on a Friday, that this is gonna be it. And I remember trying to explain his situation, like when I was, the next morning when I was taking him upstairs and there were people awake, I explained the situation away. And then that night, the following night, I told them, I was like, I'm gay. It was the first time I ever said it. It's the first time I ever really knew it, honestly. And even though like hindsight being 20/20, there was always moments, but like it was the first time I ever really knew it and it ever felt normal. And actually hooking up with someone ever felt normal. Like even when I was like making out with a girl, it never felt okay. Like it always felt weird. And no one gave a damn. It was really shocking to me because I expected everyone, not everyone, but someone to care, you know? It becomes one of those things where it's like, when you hold something for so long, even whether or not you know it, because I don't think I always knew I was gay, I just always assumed that like I just had tendencies, or not even tendencies, I just never thought anything of it. But it's always like when you tell them, you just want someone to be like, are you kidding me? But I never had an are you kidding me moment with anyone who I came out to. And the rest of my senior year, I just spent the time coming out to people and explaining who I was. And it was always joyous. It was never, no one was shocked. The hardest thing was my family, and the family that I think is always the hardest. But once you cross that barrier into being gay, you find yourself on a journey and find your own tribe. I don't think anyone ever stops. You don't ever stop coming out. Like, I think you wake up every morning, realizing you have to come out to everyone all the time, all over again, whether it be a new job or lunch. I feel like there's always a situation where you like have to come out to about who you are to whoever you're with. But it took me about a year to come out to my family. I was lucky with that. They were all great and continue to be great. It's always a new adventure, and I think that's the blessing that we as gay people have. There's always going to be someone, which is nice, whether it be an aunt or uncle or cousin or someone. You look at RuPaul for that. Like he stayed with her sister for quite some time, and you need to protect your own self-interest. And like, to go back to It Gets Better and Dan Savage, is that like, if you are 16, what's two more years? Might seem like torture, but might be for the best. But if you know your family's going to be a-okay and open and honest and happy about it, then do it. Like it changes you for the better forever. Like, I became a better person after you can just live your true self. My brother is older than me. He came out much later than I did, and he was like tortured. And once he came out, he was a completely different human being. And he was frustrated. Like, he didn't know if his family, the same family I came out to, would accept like another gay person. And I was like, there's no quota. There could be one gay person, it could be four. Like, it doesn't matter. And like, it's just making sure that you are okay and ready, and really think about it. That you can't force people to come out if the situation's not right. Like, that's what you have to be careful of. I think marriage is tricky. I've been married for a year, and we got married right before it became like nationally like recognized. I think that with marriage, I think listening is the most important thing. I think any relationship, it's not easy, but it's also, you also wake up in the morning being like, this is who I'm supposed to be with. I think marriage equality scares a lot of people because they don't want to subscribe to heteronormative standards. The LGBT community has risen and expanded above that. Being married doesn't make us heteronormative, it makes us independent, and it makes us willing to try other things. You get the security and like safety of marriage, which is, if something were to happen to Ryan or something would happen to me, we would be taken care of. But we would also get the freedom of what the LGBTQIA community has allowed us to become a part of. And I think that's the important thing to look at. Generations of men and women have fought and died for, and literally died for. And that is something that you can't take for granted. You shouldn't take for granted.